Atsushi Okubo created two masterpiece animes. So which one's the greatest? Now, if it wasn't obvious, we will be comparing two animes made by Atsushi Okubo, and those two animes were Soul Eater and Fire Force. Two animes I genuinely consider to be overall good, overall entertaining, overall something fun to watch, especially if you're just trying to get through a binge. And the way we're going to be comparing them is that we're going to break down each section into parts regarding the plot, the main characters, and the overall quality of the show. So without further ado, let's begin. The plot. To start off, the plots of both Fire Force and Soul Eater are honestly two things that are so widely different than each other that it's honestly hard to compare. So I'll just give two quick little summaries and I'll go from there. First of all, Fire Force is a story where we have our main character known as Shinra, and Shinra is trying to figure out what happened to his family in the fires from about 16 to 17 years ago, and in that fire he lost both his brother and his mother, and in order to figure out what happened to them, Shinra decided to join the Fire Force, because what do firefighters do? They put out fires. And through this, his main goal is to just be a hero and to find out what happened to his family. It's a pretty good plot. And also another thing in the series, this kind of joke snuck in. I don't know if it was intended by Okubo or not, but the way people fight in this series is with fire. So they literally fight fire with fire. And I know it's kind of weird, but it's overall a pretty cool plot because there's a lot of cool things you can do with fire. Like you can make photon weapons, you can blast fire out your feet, and there's all these different generation of fire users that have different abilities depending on what generation you are. And it feels like a story of redemption almost overall, because Shinra is trying to figure out like what happened to his family, so he's trying his best to go and save them in some way, shape, or form. Or maybe he just wants the truth, because there's something that he could have stopped all those, or that he feels like he could have stopped all those years ago, and he just really wishes he could get his family back. But the plot of Soul Eater is one that is completely different, and you can tell where Okubo definitely decided to put all of his creative juices into, because if you don't know, Soul Eater came first and then it was Fire Force more recently. But Soul Eater is a story where we have our main character Maka or whatever, right? And in her world, there's Meisters and then there's weapons. Meisters are people that are actually the people using the weapons, and weapons, well, they're people that turn into weapons. And I know it's a little bit confusing, but try to keep up. And in her world, Meisters and weapons, they tend to team up together because they all go to the Meister and Weapon Academy, where they're basically trained to match soul links with their Meister and Weapon partner, right? And together they form a team where they go out and they kill monsters and they collect their souls for Lord Death. To be honest, I can't lie, that also sounds pretty weird. Working for Lord Death, collecting souls for death, you sound like the evil person. But I swear to you, the Meisters and weapons in this series are the good guys, because the main goal of them in this series is to basically just rid the world of evil by collecting the souls of people that became those monsters. And also, the main villain of the series is someone known as Asura, okay? And he is Lord Death's like fated like enemy or whatever. And goal to defeat Asura is more so of a goal shared by everybody in the series and not just Maka. So one way to easily go ahead and differentiate like the plots of both of the series is that Fire Force's plot and like the main goal driving the series is a little more personal than it is in Soul Eater, if you know what I mean. Because in Soul Eater, it's more of everybody working together to achieve one goal, and Fire Force, everybody's working together to achieve one goal, but it's mainly driven by Shinra's goal to go ahead and save his mother and all that. Like, we focus way more on Shinra's family and his whole journey of saving his brother than we do in Soul Eater, for example, where it's more so of a group team effort sort of thing. Like, the Fire Force still works together, but the series is more so focused on Shinra in comparison to Soul Eater. Now, to insert my personal opinion, because I'll keep it a buck with y'all, I overall prefer the story of Soul Eater, because I like Fire Force, and it gives me Soul Eater. I guess it's just because I watched Soul Eater first. But personally, the plot of Soul Eater just hits way harder, and I mess with the characters in that way more. Like, I have some characters in Fire Force that I personally mess with, and y'all see that in the next segment. But overall, the whole plot of Soul Eater, of them working together and Weapons and Meisters working together to defeat Asura and to go and defeat all these monsters and collect souls, is just way cooler to me. But on to the characters. The characters. To start off with the characters, I'll make this segment a little bit short and a little bit sweeter, but I'll keep it 100. Right now, I prefer the Soul Eater characters. And unlike the last segment, I truly believe this is because of my overall preference. Like, in comparison to Maka and in comparison to Shinra, for example, or whatever, it's something about the main goals of Maka and that she's just a way deeper character in my opinion. Like, the whole thing about Shinra is he almost feels like your basic shonen protagonist that is just really trying to solve his own backstory that he doesn't remember himself. When in comparison to Maka, she's a girl that actually went through some stuff, okay? Like, she's a girl that is dealing with not only trying to become the best weapon and Meister duo in the academy, she is also genuinely trying to deal with things like her father cheating on her mother being away traveling across the world, being divorced parents, and all of that really hits for me because I just feel like that's a way deeper character that has way deeper layers and layers and layers in them in comparison to Shinra, which is just almost, he's deep, but he's not nearly as deep as Maka goes. And in Fire Force or whatever, it's just something about the comparison of the backstories that we get for certain characters. It's like in Soul Eater, it feels like we get a lot more special moments for all of the main cast than we truly get in Fire Force. Like, for Fire Force, like I said in the plot overall, is that it's mainly focused on Shinra. When you compare it to Soul Eater, it's like nobody is put over one another because he genuinely puts work and time into each and every character to make it overall equal. And there's something I love about that, where you don't make the main character just overall stand out. Like, it's good to follow one person, but I like when everybody has equal spotlight in the story, and that's what they do. Like, my favorite character in Soul Eater is Black Star, and trust me, he gets juiced, sauced, all of it. And that's exactly what I love about Soul Eater, because it's not even just Black Star that gets all the sauce. Maka gets some, Death the Kid gets some, in comparison to Fire Force, where of course, like, maybe Arthur will get a little bit of clout in it every now and then, but it's mostly Shinra's spotlight. And I know I can't hate on it because it's a shonen manga and he's the main character, but it's something about Soul Eater that I just overall prefer when they go that route instead of going with the main character is the strongest, most overpowered person to ever stand out type of thing. But on to the ending. Now, to fully end off, you can probably guess my bias or whatever, but I genuinely think that compared to Fire Force and Soul Eater, I think Soul Eater is the better series overall. It's like the characters are better, the plot is deeper, the characters are looked more into, and overall, it's just a series that has the whole better vibe for me. Like, I even think the production is better. Like, at some point, I can't cap. The animation is better on Fire Force, but that's because it's more modern day. But other than that, bro, like, everything in Soul Eater and Fire Force, like, Soul Eater is taking that dub any day of the week for me, bro. Like, there's so much cooler stuff. And if I was to recommend you one to start off for Okubo Works, I would recommend Soul Eater, because it's something like, it's gonna make you want to watch Fire Force more and have higher hopes for it. Like, I don't know what Fire Force is gonna do later on in the season, but I know right now, currently, Soul Eater is taking that W. Fire Force fans, you can come for me, but I just have to give Soul Eater that W for being the overall better series, and I'm sure many more people will agree with me. And yeah, that's all I really have to say on a matter of fact. Soul Eater wins this round on Soul Eater versus Fire Force, but let me know what other series I should make go against each other for this next versus match in animes or whatever. I might make this a series. Who knows if you guys support it enough. But until next time, I will see you pizza people on the other side of the slice. My name is Tine Pizza, and I will see you pizza people later. We move.